everyone, for today's video, we're going to share some knowledge about the languages here in the Philippines. Known as a rich biodiversity. As in main tourist attractions, it is beaches, heritage towns, monuments, mountains, rainforests, islands, and diving spots. There are around 120 to 170 languages here in the Philippines, depending on how they are classified. The official languages based on the current constitutions are the English and the Filipino. There are 13 languages with at least 1 million speakers all over the country. Some of these languages include the Cebuano, Hiligaynon, Ilocano, Kapampangan, Kinaraya, at Waray-Waray. Most Polynesian roots, however, there are also some Filipino who can speak languages derived from Spanish and Chinese. We have a guest for today, and furthermore, we have a guest, and he is my friend of mine. And let's ask him if he has ideas about the languages here in the Philippines.
My name is Dexter Moncal, and I am here to answer some question that has been asked on me. For me, dialect is important because it helps in terms of communication so that people understand each other, especially in a certain region that you belong where you speak the same dialect. At the same time, it bounds people who live in the same area, hence, it is easier for them to help each other and sort things out when needed. Did I already encounter people who speak other languages or dialect? Yes, of course, especially Cebuano and Bisaya. But since my dialect is Hiligaynon and some of our words have similarities to their dialect, it is much easier for me to socialize with them. But if there are words that I do not understand, I ask them to translate it into English or Tagalog. The language of Philippines is a lot. There is a lot of language here in the Philippines, depending on which region or province you belong to. But since Filipinos are considered as cultural diverse, hence, we can easily adapt even if we are put in a different place or different environment. We can easily socialize with other people using our own language or other languages that we have learned.
So, according to him, based on what he answered, dialect is very important in our daily life in order to build a conversation and understanding, right? So, I have another guest. Let's see if they are the same thought or the same answer. So, he is special to me, and I hope he can help us. Okay, we're going to react this video to how could he answer our questions. So let's start.
Which I use in my daily life is Hiligaynon because this is our mother tongue which my family teach me ever since. I use it every time I talk with my family member. Yes, I encounter.
Okay. So this question, I asked this question: how dialect is important in your daily life. So as he answered that it is very important to him because it is a way for having a conversation to his family. So I guess he really So the following questions here is encounter who speak on different languages. So let's find how could he answer this.
Yes, I encounter because my girlfriend is Cebuana. It is hard for me to understand some of those words she uses. However, I try my best to understand what she's talking all about. I depend it on how she act, and I use that sign to understand what she's talking all about.
Okay, so aside from him, as I see the way I act, so it means he based on the body language. I'm going to for the example um, um, of the Visayan languages. Ali diri, ali diri. So it means when I say ali diri, so it means he going to come with me. So it's a good job, good job. So the next question is already engage or adopt a new languages. So let's see if he has.
I learned is Japanese. I learned it in
Oh, yes, he saw a lot of he did a lot of time to practice this kind of languages. So let's see.
school because we have this subject and we use it inside our classroom.
For the next video, I asked for the next questions rather. I asked him if he already adopt or engage new languages. So let's see if he has.
I learned it in school because we have this subject Japanese.
Meanwhile,
For the next questions, I asked him, did you already engage new languages? Did you already adopt it? Let's see if he has.
Is Japanese. I learned it in school because we have this subject and we use it inside our classroom. Every time we have a class
Wow, sana all. Okay.
example of Japanese is Ohayo gozaimasu, hajime mashite, watashi wa Renz Joshua desu, watashi wa Philippine karakimashita, watashi wa Nijosai desu. This means you introduce yourself to a person you meet for the first time.
Oh, those are great. Okay.
2 hours later.
New language, which is the Japanese, and he adopted that from their school because they practice that, I guess. So for me, you can adopt that in your environment as well.
The next day.
Hi, good morning everyone. So today, a new day na naman. So for the furthermore, let's try to ask someone who could have an idea about the languages here in the Philippines. So because due to this pandemic, we cannot able to interview face to face. So we're going to use through video. Okay.
Hello. So, good day, and this is Dynamic Studio Namayan, and I'm going to answer the following questions given to me by Miss Marilyn Marcito Longakit. So, question number 1. So, why dialect is important to me? So, as a person, dialect is very important because it is used as a medium when we are communicating with one another. Just like, for example, here in the province of Negros Occidental. Province of Negros, I mean. One of the city here is Bacolod, and we are using Hiligaynon as a language because it is one of the common language or the lingua franca or the dialect we are using in our daily lives. So it is important because it is one of the most convenient dialect that you can use when you are talking with your friends, with your classmates, with your teachers, or even with your family. So that's all. Right now, I am going to answer question number 2. So question number 2 is that asking me if I know other dialects and how did I adapt it. So I can say that yes, I know other dialects like Tagalog and Bisaya and I think Karaya. So I will give you a little bit of example of the dialects that I know. So Tagalog, first Tagalog. So For example, kamusta ka? Kamusta ka na? Just like that. I can say that I adapt Tagalog because it is one of our national language and it is used in the whole place here in the Philippines, and it is the national language of the Philippines, so that we are using it and we are adapting it since when we are young. So next, Bisaya. So Bisaya is that I adapt Bisaya because of my friends from the church. And for example, here I will give you, when the closing of the class starts, we are going to Davao City or Cebu for the youth camp, and of course my friends there is Cebuanos, so that I am adapting their language or their dialect, because if I don't adapt it, we will not call this we will not understand each other. Just like I can say ni unsa ka, so it means na ano ka, or what happened to you, just like that. Okay, so lastly is the karaya. So karaya is from the Iloilo, the place of Iloilo, where some of the people there using Ilonggo language and Karaya. So my mom used to speak Karaya because she lived in Miagao, Iloilo, so that I adapt it also, because when she says that nanota na mo dya, napanaw na ka, so it means what happened to you, and naglakat ka na, just like that. So that, or those are the dialects that I adapt and I know. So that's all. So I already did answer 2 questions and only 1 question to go. So question number 3 asks that if I encountered a situation that I didn't even know the dialect, and how did I pass it? So I can say that yes, because when I say in question number 2, we are going to Davao for original youth camp, and yes, I really encountered a situation, because there are some of the delegates who's from other places like Ilocano, Pampangueño, or I mean Kapampangan and Waray, so that I can even understand what they were saying, because their dialects or their languages is very hard to understand. So the thing I did is that I spoke Tagalog, because I really know that they can speak Tagalog too, because it is our national language and it is very helpful to communicate with one another or with the other people who lives here in the Philippines. So I passed it by speaking Tagalog. Yes, that's all. So I really hope that I really did answer those questions in the survey. So that's all. Thank you. Bye.
So before this video ends, I would like to say thank you for your support and still watching till the end. And I hope you guys learned something about this video. And don't forget to